here we have it. Now we have had a ton of requests for this, and it is time to test the Hero 8 Black. Actually, this is a Hero 7 Black, but don't worry, my Hero 8 should be arriving any second now at the front door from the UPS driver. Come on now, I would never clickbait you that hard. No, I wouldn't do that, So unlike pretty much every other test/review video of the Hero 8 Black that I've seen, we're not just gonna throw it onto a selfie stick and walk the dog around for a while. No. The moment that box arrives, I am taking it straight up into the mountains and giving it a nice little taste of what its horrible, pain-filled life will be like as one of my GoPros. So here's the thing though, I was just thinking, when I held up this 7, it could have passed as a Hero 8 Black unless you looked really closely. Is that gonna be the same thing for the image quality? Am I going to be able to tell, are you going to be able to tell under regular circumstances in the same way that I use my 7 Black now? Am I gonna be able to tell a quality difference to justify me spending hundreds of dollars on the Hero 8 Black? So first we're okay, so we're at the top of the mountain. The light has, well, the sun has just gone behind the mountains, so it's not gonna be super ideal light conditions. It's not like dark, but it's not, full on daytime anyways, which is probably a good thing for this test. So I've got both cameras on my chin mount. That'll be fun, weighing my head down over every bump. But we've got the Hero 8 Black and the Hero 7 Black right there. I've got them locked to the exact same settings that I would normally use. Let's go and dive in and see what's up. Okay, so just got to get over this guardrail here. I haven't actually ridden my bike in like over a week now. Okay, so one of the very first things I noticed right off the bat was the color difference between the two cameras. Now they're both set at 6500 Kelvin, which is where I would set it for this situation because it is overcast and it's pretty blue light. 6500 Kelvin on both. But if you look at my very white jersey, you can see that there's a whole lot less green in the lower image from the Hero 8. And so yeah, so the whites are a lot more red looking, and I don't necessarily dislike it, but between these two instances, and by looking at the color parade over on one of the other tabs, the Hero 7 is a little bit more true to life with as far as color goes. Also in this image, I just wanted to freeze it here because, it's a good spot to kind of look around for sharpness and detail and things like that. I have the Hero 8 Black in the 100 megabits per second mode, which is one of the things I was most excited about it. It ended up being about a gig larger of a file for this one track than the Hero 7 Black. So it is a bigger file, but if it gets better results, whatever. And it looks to me like that 100 megabits per second is helping a little bit to get a little bit more clarity and detail out of the image, which is good. Whew. It's gonna be a little rusty that first little bit. Okay, so let's see what happens. Really loose here. Really loose. Okay, so pay attention to the wind noise here. Crazy armored rock berm. Pretty much nothing on the Hero 8. Crazy armored rock berm. And a massive difference for wind noise between the Hero 7 and the Hero 8. I'm really impressed with how that Hero 8 handles wind. And I have no windsock on it either. Okay. It's getting dark. This is the loosest part of the whole track and the sketchiest. It's getting dark. This is the loosest part of the whole track and the sketchiest. But after this corner, it starts to loosen off a bit for the sketch factor. All right, so while we're in a bright spot along the trail where the ISO should be relatively low and the shutter speed should be a little bit higher, let's have a look at some detail. The detail is actually pretty good. I'm impressed. Let's compare that to the 7 Black. Now, definitely a lot less detail, but yeah, the 8 Black definitely takes it on this, and that really comes down to that 100 megabits per second mode that you can put on with the 8. So, there is lots of shaking going on. Some decent compressions back there.
So there is lots of shaking going on. Some decent compressions back there.
So what do you think so far? Which one looks better to you?
Okay.
You could let me know in the poll right up above that just popped up.
Sick. I love this trail. Pretty rough in through here. Lots of roots. Little drop. Like doing a race run down here. Little jump. Woo. Now my mouth is pretty close to both GoPros, so it's really best case scenario for the camera for getting good quality audio for voice. Ooh. Oh, I love it. Starts to flatten out. Whew.
And just for funsies, here's a little bit of Hero 4 Black plus gimbal footage.
Oh, got a little squirrely there.
So after seeing that and seeing me fling the cameras down a mountain on a darker evening and bouncing all over the place, what did you think? Do you think that this, the Hero 8, is worth the upgrade or worth buying in general? It's definitely an amazing action camera, and it is absolutely incredible how far we have come over the last few years. And there are some things I really, really like about this camera. I love how it's got those little feet that pop out the bottom, so I don't ever have to worry about forgetting this little attachment cage thing when I go to film, which I have done before, and that sucked when you realize that there's no way to actually connect the camera to you. So I really, really like that, and I like how it is pretty easily replaceable if you do break one of those tabs. There's a couple little screws down there. One thing I really don't like is how you cannot replace the lens on this. You have to send it back to GoPro to go and get that lens replaced. I personally have never actually broken a lens on a GoPro. Actually, I did a few years back in a pretty bad crash, but that actually wasn't my GoPro. Anyways, as far as the general performance goes, it is good, but it's not that much better than the 7 in general. The 100 megabits per second is pretty awesome, and especially when speeds pick up, that's when the 100 megabits per second really make a difference. The other big thing that I noticed right away, as you saw in the video, is the wind noise. This one did a really great job cutting down the wind, but at the same time, it was a little bit more dull sounding than the Hero 7 Black. So there's a little bit of trade-off there. This is what it all kind of comes down to. And a lot of you probably don't want to hear this, but for me personally, and for what I like to do and how I shoot, this old fella still wins. The Hero 4 Black on a 3-axis gimbal, despite having so many issues, especially with the gimbal itself, and just trying to get the whole unit working right day after day is not an easy task. But when it works, man, it's so smooth, it looks so good, the audio is perfect. This is still my go-to choice. But for racing, or when it's raining and really wet, because that Hero 4 isn't waterproof, I am definitely going to be using this Hero 8 Black for all of that kind of work. I really want to know what you think. Is it worth buying the 8? Were you surprised at how the comparison was between the 8 and the 7, or between the 8 and the 4 with the gimbal? Let me know down in the comments below. And I'm gonna be doing some more videos with this camera to really dial in the settings and use it in some different circumstances, like bright, full-on sunshine, And I'm also gonna do a video where I go over all the best settings for action on these cameras. Make sure you tune in for that. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, and I'll see you in a couple days. Cheers, everybody.